to the Armand Wiggins Show, where it's a lot going on. We discuss music, drama, celebrity gossip, pop culture, and everything in the entertainment world.
That's how we already know.
Stay tuned right here as we spill the tea, sip some tea, all raw for your enjoyment. Now grab your cup and buckle up.
Ooh. Hello, everybody. What's going on out there? What's going on? Listen, we are back with another video. Okay, and well, this is a video that I had planned on doing over the weekend. Well, actually not over the weekend, but earlier in the week. But, you know, a lot of things were going on, so I had to catch up. But I was definitely, going to do a video on this subject because this has been a hot topic. It's been a crazy, it literally has people in an uproar. There's a lot of emotions surrounding this miniseries on Netflix. So I wanted to talk about it. I'm sure everyone has seen it. If you haven't seen it, you definitely heard about it because everybody is talking about it. So I wanted to provide an open platform where you guys can call in and we have a dialogue about how we felt about the movie and what we thought. So the miniseries that we're talking about, if you haven't seen it, is called When They See Us. It's surrounding the case of the Central Park Five that happened in 1989, where 5 men got convicted of raping and attacking a white jogger in Central Park. And they faced between 5 to 14 years in prison for a crime that they didn't do. And inevitably they got out early in early 2002. They got a settlement of over $41 million, but still no money, no amount of money can bring back their youth and their childhood. And it's a really unfortunate situation because you look at these 5 black men, or 4 black men and 1 Hispanic boy whose lives got taken away at the sake of the justice system. The justice system that is supposed to protect us and keep us safe, but instead it actually did the opposite. It ruined the lives of 5 minorities, all over a white woman, and essentially because they couldn't figure out who did it, and they just assumed that it was these kids. These kids were coerced and beat and bribed into basically admitting or saying that they did it because the police could not find any evidence on who did it. So they all ended up lying on each other and taking the blame and saying that they did the crime, and inevitably the jury convicted them, even though there was no there was DNA, but the DNA did not match the kids, none of that, and they still got convicted of the crime. And so that has people in an uproar, and so we should talk about it. You're looking at me. You look like what?
I was just waiting for you to finish your intro into it. But yeah, this movie was really, or this doc, I keep saying this, I feel like it was just like an extended movie, but I guess it's like a docu-series. But it was hard to watch, very informative, but it was like, you get sad, I got angry. It was good. I think Netflix did a good job of like really giving us every detail of this movie, or docu-series, I'll say.
Yeah, the director, what's her? I don't know her name.
I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's Ava DuVernay or DuVernay.
Ava DuVernay.
DuVernay.
Something.
Ava.
Okay. Oh, Ava. But yeah, and then that right there is the Linda. What's her name? Don't give me the line. Linda Damn it. Fairstein.
Her name is Linda Fairstein.
Yes, Linda Fairstein. So this was the prosecutor.
Yeah. I wanted to fight her the whole movie.
But we'll get to her in a second. We'll get to her in a second. But let's talk about it. So we watched the movie. The series. It was about Friday. Was that Friday night or Saturday night? We watched it.
I believe that was Friday night going into Saturday because it was so good. We stayed up till like almost 3 in the morning because every time we just kept hitting play, keep going. So we ended up watching the whole thing.
Yeah. So me and my babe we were watching the series. Now when I was watching it, I didn't really want to watch it. I was getting frustrated. He was getting mad at me because. He said I was talking too much, but I was like, I don't want to see this no more because I'm getting irritated. I don't like to watch a lot of movies where black people are being mistreated too much. So I was getting frustrated with the movie, but then it was so good that I just kept watching. We literally watched that whole series, and then him and I both, we would go back and forth getting irritated. So then I would be into it, then he wouldn't want to watch it. Then he would be into it, then I would be over it and upset. And then, this was a little bit, well, I was actually 1 year old when this thing happened, but it was so crazy because both of us, I have to be honest, it wasn't until the end of the series, we didn't realize that this was a true story.
Yeah, the whole time we just thought this was a made up story that they put together just to show how these things do happen in the world, but we didn't know this was the actual thing that happened at the time until the end. And we're like, we watched this whole thing and didn't even know this is a true story. So that was that, and then it made it even more better when you realize this is a true story and the men are actually alive to tell their story. They didn't wait till they died to try to do a story on them. So I think that made it even better.
Yeah. So yeah, they're like, you guys didn't know it was real. No, we didn't know that this was a true story. I feel like I was like shocked. And so I didn't know.
I wasn't born.
Yeah, you weren't born yet, and I was only 1 year old. So no, shit, we don't. I mean, I don't know everything, people. Shit, I don't date all the way back to 1989 on a regular basis. So this was a good history lesson for me because I was wondering, like, how did they incorporate Donald Trump? Yep. Because like I said, we didn't know. So we were like, damn, did they really do that to fit the times? But no, Donald Trump was the same asshole that he is now. Then that guy Donald Trump paid at that time. He wasn't even a politician. He was just a real estate agent, and he paid $85,000 in advertisements to say that we should bring the death penalty back. He wanted all of those kids to actually get the death penalty, and he called them misfits and monsters. And even later on, when they got out. When everything got, repealed? I don't know the legal terms of it, but back in 2002, he said just because everything got cleared up, that it still didn't make them innocent. He was still saying that they were guilty, and he still stood by what he said.
Well, we see that's nothing from that movie. You see nothing's changed to today. He still is the same a-hole that he was back then today. So that's how I feel. It was crazy. I thought that they were just cutting clips of stupid stuff that he said to make fit the movie, and it was crazy to find out that he really was saying these things about these boys. So it just was like, just puts that, when you think of Donald Trump, that feeling that you get every time. So
yeah. So what were some of your like favorite parts of the movie?
It's hard. I had like some favorite parts, but then there was like some of the sad parts are my favorite parts. I don't know, because that movie, it makes you so angry. It makes you cry. It just made me so angry. It made me cry. It made me cry so much when you get to see the mom go visit the boy Corey, who had the ending story, and it was like there was nothing she could do to help him, and she wanted to, and then he was trying to be strong for her, and it was like, I don't know, that part sticks with me because I'm like, dang, I couldn't imagine being somewhere. I'm in jail and I feel like I want to help my mom, and she's mad because she wants to help me, and so it's just like there's nothing you can do. And every time he tried to get his transfer closer to her, they would show the miles just kept getting further and further and further.
Right. Yes.
I don't know. That part stuck with me because I'm like, he kept trying to do he was in a good situation in his jail with that. I can't think of the cop's name, but the white cop was helping him. His solitary wasn't that bad. He could have stayed there, but he tried to do a transfer to get closer to his mom, and then he ended up getting transferred further. So it's like he really wanted to be with his mom. So that part stuck with me. That part made me sad.
Yeah, I think Jarrell Jerome. I was trying to find the actor's name. I really liked him as an actor. He did a phenomenal job in that. He definitely needs some type of award for that.
That role, yeah, he was and then I believe he played the younger child and the older guy.
Yeah, he played himself throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, so he did a good job of being 16 and then going up to every age. He knew how to like grow as his age grew with the character. So I think he did a phenomenal job. He definitely needs some more roles. I would watch him on other things acting too.
Well, I think he also was in what was that movie that he was in? I think he was in, what's the movie where he played the gay guy? Moonlight.
Oh, I didn't see that. I didn't see that. I actually met you like a week later.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, so look, this is Jarrell Jerome right here, guys. I was trying to pull him up. So yeah, I think he did a phenomenal job. He did a phenomenal job, playing, like you said, both roles. It was very powerful. And it was a very emotional movie for me. And it made me realize that, I don't want to go to jail.
No.
You know what I mean? It made me realize that I want to live a straight and narrow life as much as possible because, at any moment, like jail can literally take your life away. And not to make this about the transgenders, but I hope a lot of people seen this movie and a lot of LGBT and a lot of transgender people, because people we talk a lot like how it's hard being transgender, this, that, and the third. And we also seen in the movie being a male minority, whether you're Hispanic or African American, it's hard too because things get pinned upon you. These guys got pinned with a rape against a white woman, and the Hispanic boy, what was his name?
Raymond.
Raymond. So once he got out of jail, he couldn't get a job.
He couldn't do anything.
He couldn't do anything with his life.
It was just like, I'm stuck. The only thing he could resort to was something that would end up having him back in jail. So his life was, at that point, he was just in the system. They just kept him in the system. He literally
had to keep going back. And then I didn't know that the Puerto Rican or the Latin women were so, heartless like that. Like the dad's girlfriend, she was like a ruthless bitch.
Yeah. Well, she didn't care for him at any point. She never cared for him. She was more selfish. She was more so, she wanted the dad to be worried about her family and not his family. So some people in general are like that. They don't care about, they get with other people and they want you to leave your family and come deal with their family. So she was one of those. So.
Now, so the people have had it with Linda Fairstein, yeah. So they've been trying to counsel her ever since this movie has came out. Now she has since spoken out, and she says that this was just a basket of lies. The movie, it's just a basket of lies, which I don't believe that that's true. I believe everything that they said about this woman. This woman has now since deleted all of her social media and just hiding behind her millions of dollars. They are signing petitions to try to have her books released from Amazon, Barnes and Nobles. They have over 60,000 signatures right now that they are. And they're hoping for 75,000 signatures to get her books pulled off of the shelves. She's already, let me see.
She's been removed from a nonprofit. I'm trying to pull up the name of that nonprofit, but she was also the reason why I also don't believe her is that she was on the team of Harvey Weinstein, kind of supporting him. So she's a known person to support people doing wrong things or like doing the wrong thing and going against it, even with her own knowledge of knowing what the truth is. She'll still push whatever she feels like is more beneficial for her. So that's why I really can't stand her. And it sucks that, when people play a role in a movie, that they get stuck with the way we feel about that person. Because now the lady who actually plays her, I want to fight her, but because I'm like, girl, I don't know. But the trustees are looking to remove Fairstein from several books amid the Park Five revelation. She's people are just in an uproar about her, so. I'm signing the petition to get rid of her. I think everyone should, because you knowingly put these children against this woman. And she was saying the 14-year-old, the youngest one, was the one who was the main one who took the woman down. I'm like, she couldn't be serious. And I don't know. It's still, when I think about it, kind of pisses me off, because I'm like, I can't believe that this even got pushed to even go all the way through.
They said petitions against Linda Fairstein pile up when they see us released. The petition against the Central Park 5 prosecutor Linda Fairstein are piling up following the Netflix release of Ava DuVernay's When They See It. The petition to have Fairstein portrayed by Felicity Huffman in the series removed from Vassar College Board of Trustees had just under 17,000 signatures and counting at the time of this writing, with a goal of 25,000. Now it's went up to 90. Wait, what is this? I'm trying to see. They got here. This is the Amazon petition with 90,000 signatures with a total of 150,000 that they want. So there's just a shitload of petitions that they're just trying to get this lady removed.
And even now I found too, speaking of the Trump situation, his old tweets, because they had a documentary about this situation came out, and he tweeted, this was in 2013, he tweeted, "The Central Park 5 documentary was a one-sided piece of garbage that didn't explain the horrific crimes of these young men while in the park." And someone tweeted him, "DNA evidence proved they were innocent. They were committed no crime. I'll never get an answer. I hope this isn't a real person." And Donald Trump tweeted back, "They were viciously attacking other people in the park. Nice guys." So he still, even years later when they had got out of jail, he did not care at all. I'm pretty sure to this day, he still thinks that they should be in jail, which is crazy. Because
has Trump said anything since?
I haven't seen him say anything recently, but we also know that this is the election time, and I don't think that is a smart move for him to do that. So,
she's resigned from her nonprofits as well, from nonprofits. Yeah, her shit is kind of failing. So she can't go anywhere anymore because she played a very dirty game, and she knew she put those black boys away for a long time, and she's trying to justify it, and really there is no justification in that, of ruining some people's lives. So I want to know what you guys think about this. Let's take some callers. Let's open it up to some people, because I know a lot of people have some opinions.
While we wait for some calls, what was your favorite part in the movie, or something that you remembered like that stuck with you?
There was just a lot. I'm trying to think. Like, it was just emotion. I like the bond between, I don't know all the characters' names. I like the bond between the sister and the little 14-year-old. Like, that one really was getting to me. And, I felt bad because I knew, like, as an older brother, like, I was thinking, like, if that was my little brother and, like, he was ready to go.
His name was Kevin.
Kevin, yeah. And he was just like, just sign the paper. I want to go home. And so she signed the paper. And then the sister, it really resonated with me, because the sister was like, she couldn't even really be happy with her life because she was part of the reason why her brother was in there for 15 years. He was 14 when he went into jail. And then when he got out of jail, he seemed as though that he still had his like nice, happy spirit. But I'm just like, man, like I couldn't imagine, still trying to be happy and still being optimistic about life after having my whole childhood revoked over something that I never did.
Mm.
And then the relationship with the other guy and his dad, that was hard.
That was with I know who you're talking. I gotta find his name, but yeah, that was hard because the dad was he was a bit of a fool.
Yeah, that was hard because I didn't understand what the dad was doing. I think the dad felt guilty because the dad talked him into cooperating with the police.
Mm-hmm. Well, because the dad did it was in fear of losing his own job from his
Yes.
own history, because the police went and dug up on the dad and was basically saying, if you don't get your son to cooperate, we're going to, because the dad had somehow ended up with a good job in that time. And so the police said, if you don't have your son cooperate, we'll bring up to your boss your past, which would then in turn have him lose his job.
Yeah, so it really wasn't about his son then.
No, he was more about himself, clearly.
Yeah.
But he also thought that the way the police were doing all of the boys is that if you talk, you get off. And that was not the case. It was more of you talk, you just build in our case to prosecute
Antron
you guys.
McCray, that's what it was. Thank you, Alexis Daniel.
Thank you.
All right. 240-5154. You're live on the air.
Hello.
Hey,
Can you
what's
hear
going
me?
on? What did you think about the series?
Well, listen, the series actually was artistically, I mean, it was a deep 4 chapters. But I actually remember this from that time.
Okay.
I'm at 89, I was 19.
Oh,
so
dang.
I remember exactly how crazy it was. I remember how, all the news footage and everything. I remember how nasty Donald Trump was. I think at the time, was it Koch? I'm not from New York, but I remember it being national news. And it was just nasty. It was the whole thing nasty. And I do remember seeing, like, the footage, the news footage, how they showed each of them giving their testimony and so forth. That was the first time that I ever even heard of, like, coercion, like the police coercion thing. So for me, like, that to me, as a teenager, that was the realest thing that I ever seen. And it was so sad. And what Corey went through, and you could tell that he had issues. At the time, I thought he was the youngest, because developmentally, you could just tell that he was just, he was not as mature or whatever.
Yeah.
So this was just, it was a deep pill to swallow. And I hope like hell that Linda and all of her shit that she got going on now, all that is coming. It's her time. Okay? That's what this is. This is the Central Park 5's time for them to be able to still, come back out. And actually, I think this was a punch against Donald Trump as well. So I'm not surprised with this shit.
Yeah, Donald Trump was very nasty. I don't know if he has said anything. Have you heard anything from him?
Now I didn't see it myself, but I've heard that he did have a response about it, about it still calling them criminals. To this day, he won't admit if he's wrong. Come on, everybody's seen this by now. He's not that dude. He's crazy.
So do you have kids or no?
Yes, I do.
So did you guys watch it together? Did you talk about it? Like, are they boys? Do you have sons?
My children are adults, and they've already heard about this and read up on this before.
Oh, okay.
It came as no surprise. But of course, they were. I think it got real for my son. I have a son and a daughter. My son, I think for him, it was just a little bit. He was taken aback because he's dealt with the police before. And he's seen, so for him, it was like, oh, this is new.
Mhm.
you know?
Yes, thank you, caller.
Thank you, caller.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye. Yeah, so pretty interesting.
Yeah.
We don't have anybody in the queue. So listen, this is supposed to be an open topic. So if you guys want to talk about it, I want to hear what you guys had thought about the movie. What were some of your favorite parts? What didn't you like about the movie? Let us know. We're here. We're chatting. We're talking about it.
You know what else was crazy? While we're waiting for callers, what else was a crazy scene was when the guy Corey, when he just went with Yusuf to just go to the police the station just to watch him, and in watching him, he ended up getting brought into it. His name wasn't even on the list to begin with, and they just used him, and then he ended up getting the worst of it all.
Yes, right, because he wasn't even on the list.
No, but he was the oldest, so they sent him straight to the adult jail. They
Yes.
didn't even, yeah. And then when they picked him up, the guy that he went in there, his mom had came and got him and took him home, and so they just ended up they almost did they picked him up and used him to make their story make sense, and told him what to say. I thought that part was another part that.
Oh, let me see. They're saying that you can find the petition on change.org. Let me see if we can find a petition, and I can put the petition in the link. In the description box. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know how to find this though. Let me see. Linda, what's her name? How you spell it?
Fairstein, Fairstein.
Okay, let me see if I can find it for you guys. Prosecute Linda Fairstein. Yeah, there's hell of them. There's literally, okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to copy the link.
There's about 18
There's
results.
18 fucking petitions on this bitch. So I'm going to copy the link, and let me see, and I'm going to see if it'll, I'm going to post the link in the comments. So let me know if that worked, you guys. So that's the link if you guys wanted to. Did it work for you? Try and click it.
Yes, it worked.
Yeah, so
we can get to all the petitions here.
So, and I'll put those in the description box too, for all the petitions.
You can see which one is the main one. I would try to read all of them, but you can see which one is the main one. It shows you how many people have signed it. The main one seems to have 95,000 signatures so far, but there's some with 11,000. There's some with 18,000. So they're really trying to push to get this lady.
Yeah, they have the Prosecute Linda Fairstein that has 11,000 signatures. Linda Fairstein Central Park 5 book removal that has 95,000 signatures. They're looking for 150. Linda Fairstein achieved her fame and fortune through her wild imagination and at the expense of 5 innocent children's pain. Let's start off with why this petition was started. Linda Fairstein led a witch hunt against 5 teenage boys. Hold on. They said, let me pull her picture up while I talk about her. They said that she led a witch hunt against 5 teenage boys, even though the physical evidence didn't support her theory. She raged on with one goal in mind, and that was to get a conviction at any expense, even the lives of teenage boys. She led the hunt that fundamentally changed these men's lives forever and unfairly tarnished their reputation. You could almost say she hunted these boys for their lives, and after securing the conviction she wanted, she wanted and the spotlight being off the case, Linda decided to do what she does best and tell stories. She became a fictional true crime writer, and even after exoneration of the 5 children she hunted, and full well knowing she took a part in what does she do? Represents Harvey Weinstein, media mogul, serial sexual assault predator. So the woman preaching justice for sexual assault survivors is representing the perpetrators now. These circumstances are not a coincidence. No, this vile, evil woman has a long history of using her imagination and does so regardless of the pain and suffering is causing others. And I believe to be fact that she led this whole entire crusade out of the aspiration of financial gain, knowing the media coverage the case would be the case would generate, and knowing if she secured a conviction regardless of the evidence, her book career on true crime, which is her career field, would flourish. I believe her actions were led by her greed and desire to relevant, maybe even famous, and I believe these character flaws of hers led her to knowingly and wrongfully hunt these boys into a conviction. And because of her shameful past, I am starting a petition to ask all retailers and book publishers to stop selling Linda Feuerstein's books or any product that has ties to her.
Somebody else in the chat mentioned Elizabeth Lindera. She was the one who was like the also the prosecutor in the courtroom, who was basically who provided the evidence against the children. I didn't really care for her either because she knowingly knew that there was no facts against it, and she just she saw them creating these lies and used that to like make sure she just won the case. I feel.
Yeah, but that's what lawyers have to do. She's a lawyer for the state. Lawyers lie all the time, but you can't really be upset with the lawyer. The lawyer is doing their job. The lawyer's job is to win the case.
There has to be a time when there's integrity, and your job has to come.
She should have got off the case then.
She should have definitely got off the case when she realized that when she watched those videotapes that none of their stories went together, and then they brought Corey in there with the cohort story that they told him to tell on video camera. She knew that it was wrong at that time. Her integrity should have made her get off of that case, but she still stuck with it, knowing that was wrong. Like, she knew that there was no facts or evidence on that case at all, and she too stuck with it. So I think that she's just as equally wrong as the rest of the people. The police that were pushing it, there was the police were beating up on these little boys without any parents' consent or anything. They were in there slapping these kids. The 14-year-old boy had the helmet knot on his eye
then went to jail for 15 years.
And they
got your ass beat by the police.
And they were saying that the knot and the scratch came from him fighting the woman. Meanwhile, the police is the one who done knocked him in his face. Like, a lot of people are responsible for this. I think that this woman, Linda, is the head and the face of it all. But there's more people who need to be sought out and get some retaliation against them as well.
Okay, let's take a caller. 980-6422. You're live on the air.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on?
What's going on? How are you?
I'm doing good. How did you feel about this miniseries? Did you see it?
Yes, I did see it. I watched it all in one night.
We too. We did too.
I could not stop watching it. It's horrible. Like, the things that these kids went through, and it's just like, I think everybody kind of sees someone in their family member or one of their family members as one of these boys. So it's just like, it was heart-wrenching. I'm still not over it. Like, it's a lot. I said, let me join this live so maybe I can release some of this stress on my chest, because Lord, that was a lot. And then not for nothing, you know, this puts us, like, for me, I don't like to watch stuff like this. I'll be honest with you, because then it makes me, and I'm not by any means racist or prejudiced, but it makes me feel a way towards white people in my everyday life. Right, right,
You get what I'm saying?
right,
It
right,
makes me
right.
feel a way towards
I
police.
do.
It makes me feel a way. It just makes me start to feel a way towards white people, police. It just makes me uncomfortable. And you
It
know,
does. It leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
yes, and I don't want to, all white people are not like that, but I just start to, feel away when I see this, and it's just
Hmm.
like, are you kidding me? Like, these
Absolutely.
people have literally lost their lives, and some people will say, well, look now, they're rich and they're famous, but at what cost?
At what cost? And it's like I'm pretty sure you ask each and every one of them, if you had the choice to go back and do this all over or get the money you have today, would you? I'm pretty sure all those boys would say, absolutely not. Keep the money and let me have my life, because these boys are forever destroyed. So my heart goes out to them, their families, these police officers. They're going. Nothing good comes from evil. They're going to get what's coming to them. And we got to boycott this lady. I don't know what kind of charges we can get on her, but she's
Yes,
going down. She is
yes.
going down.
Thank you,
It's a
caller.
lot. It's a lot.
It is a
No problem.
lot.
Thank you, Armand. Love you.
Bye. Yeah, it's a lot, and I think that all families, especially African American families, and even Hispanic families, like, it's like these kids were in the park doing their thing. Granted, it was a lot of them. They were kind of being rebellious, but I don't know. It just makes you feel like, okay, so because this happened to a white woman, it just had to be these black kids, and we just had to find justice. But you don't ever, like, where's the justice for, these black men or these innocent black women that get attacked by these police officers? Now, today, where is the justice system, the same justice system that, put 5 people away for this woman? Where's that justice system when they're out here supposed to be protecting black people? Like, it makes me feel like the justice system is not for black or minorities at all. It's really to, like, I mean, it would be different if you felt like things were different now in 2019. We're damn near in 2020, and I still don't trust the police. It's almost 30 something years later. Literally 30 years later. and I still don't trust the police, and Donald Trump is the goddamn president. Look at that.
So with that being said, the way he felt back then, and he's now the president, that clearly shows ain't nothing changed. It's actually almost to a point where it's getting worse. You're pushing them now as the leaders. So,
Yeah.
mm. And then they didn't even. What was also frustrating is that they had the Matthias Reyes. He was the serial rapist in the area, and no one thought to question him. No one thought to say anything. He was doing serial rapings in the same area, the same state, whatever you want to call it, and no one thought that it could be him. No one.
How do you spell his name?
His name is Matthias, Matias. Okay.
So this is the actual rapist. I'm going to pull him up for you. I'm going to show you him now, and I'm going to show you him then. And this was a Hispanic boy too. But he wasn't with them that night.
No, he was on his. This is something. This wasn't the first woman that, or I don't even know if it was the first or the last woman that he had raped and killed, or attempted to murder, because he didn't succeed with this woman. But they didn't even think to question him at all.
Hold on, I'm getting him pulled up. Give me 1 second.
He committed his. I'll read a little bit about him. He committed his first known attempted rape in 1988 when he threatened a 27-year-old woman, Jackie Herbat, at a church just east of Central Park with a knife. She convinced him not to rape her. So this was something he was trying to do and trying to be succeed. Like, he had been trying to do this. This was not his first time. And
they had something like 3,000 rapes or something at that time, or 30. It was like a big, alarming rate of rapes going on in New York at the time, and he was like a serial rapist. So this was him then. This was that is the rapist. I was him then. Let me see if I can pull up the other one. Let me see. Let me take a call real quick. Private caller, you're live on the air.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, I watch your show all the time. I'm
Thank you.
17, sorry. Um, so I thought the Netflix series is really interesting because I'm not American, but
Okay.
I could feel that like everything that happened in that movie was not unbelievable to me. Being from another country, I think it was unbelievable because I never experienced anything like that in my country. But
Yes.
being here in America is just so horrible that African Americans have to go through, things like that. And
Absolutely.
it did make me tear up a bunch. Hello?
Yeah, I'm
Yes, we're
here.
here.
Yeah. The part that I thought was interesting was when when they actually found the guy that really like actually did the rape, and the lady was saying like maybe he's the sixth guy, maybe
Yeah.
yeah, that part really made me so angry. Like how dare, like she knew the whole time. And then another thing is I like everyone's blaming her and putting her on blast, but I think everyone should also blame those detectives that interview those boys and, made them so-called confess to something they didn't do. I think everyone should be held responsible, not just that one lady. Yeah, she had a lot of power and she was the person that like pulled all the strings, but like she shouldn't. I know what I'm saying, but I don't know how to
No, keep
No,
going.
keep
You're
going, but
doing
yeah.
put it in
fine.
words.
Yeah, they all. I agree with you, caller. I think that they all should be. They all should face charges, or they all should be. They all should face the consequences. They
Exactly.
all were a part of making this happen. If any of them would have said no,
Exactly.
then she couldn't do this on her own. If they would have said no, this wouldn't have gone that far. So they enabled and allowed this
Yeah.
situation to continue. So I completely agree with you. I think that they all should be responsible for this.
Yeah. And like I have a question, like so when something like that happens, can they be prosecuted? Like is like can there be any charges like put against them, because like what they did?
You know what? I don't know. I'm not. I don't know the legal system like that way, so I don't even want to get on here and pretend like I know that answer. I don't know if they could do that. Maybe somebody can call in and I don't think so though, because
Mhm.
I feel like it. I don't know. I don't.
I'm not sure if that's something that if they can do that at this time. I don't know if that's something that they can charge them for doing those things. I think that
Because it's really a bunch of. I mean, it's technically hearsay that's the way that it happened.
happened. Yeah.
Like we don't know
Mhm.
that that's for sure the way this happened. Like because the lady is saying uh that the movie is a bunch of lies, and then Donald Trump was saying that it's one sided. Then there was another politician lady. What did she
There's
say?
a let me bring her up. Her name is Candace Owens, I believe. Let me see which I have. Which
Yeah.
she went on. Candace Owens. She's an African American woman, and she's a Trump supporter. And she tweeted out about 3 days ago, or 2 days yesterday actually. How foolish do you have to be to believe that the Central Park Five case is suddenly being unearthed and glamorized because people care about justice? Wake up, Black America. Billions of dollars are being spent to emotionally manipulate us ahead of an election cycle. basically like a comma. I can't think what it's called again. So they believe that it seems to me from what I'm interpreting from this, they believe that this is all just a ploy to like manipulate our minds and go against maybe
Oh
Donald
my
Trump and
goodness.
things in during this time because we're about to vote for our next president. They're not pushing this as this is the truth. They're pushing this as this is manipulation for us to be even more mad at the president, be more mad at the people who support him and things like that, and be more mad at this situation when it's like this really did happen. We are in a different time period where
Exactly.
everyone in the
Evidence
world
are
can get
out
this.
there.
Yes, everyone can. It's on Netflix. Everyone has their own Netflix or somebody else's Netflix account where they can go see this movie or this series and get their own opinion from it. It has nothing to do with an election. No one
It
cares
really
about that.
doesn't.
We've been done with Donald Trump before this movie came out, and this just does further push us away from him. But this is not why people spent millions of dollars to put this movie out, so Trump can't win again. That's stupid.
I don't think anyone in that case. I mean, I still don't understand why Trump is president, but I think what happened to those guys was okay. I'm gonna cry.
Don't cry.
Niggas like, how could you take someone's life away from them for that long, and they didn't even get a chance to live out their childhood,
Mhm.
and now like they're adults and they're out of prison. And I was watching their interview earlier, and I saw that the actors they were saying like from talking to one of the guys they could tell that he's still stuck as a 15 or as like stuck in that age, you know.
Oh
So he didn't get to
wow.
live out his life and like grow up. Now he's still stuck in the mindset of a like 16-year-old wearing the same colors, you know. It's just so sad.
Wow. Yeah, it is. It's really, really unfortunate. And listen, I was watching the show, cringing and crying and getting emotional. And then you watch the mothers, and some of the mothers didn't have the money, and some of the mothers couldn't, they didn't have a lot of the
Exactly.
resources to want to help their son and be there for their kid. And it's like their kid is literally sitting there in jail, and I think that's the part where it gets for me, like sitting on the other side of in the courtroom, and as a parent, you feel like you can save your kid and protect your kid from the world, but then when it comes to the law and the judicial
Mhm.
system, you have no power. So all you can do is sit there helpless while the system just does whatever they want to do to your
What?
kid,
Yep.
and you can't do anything. And I think that part is the
And they
gut wrenching
target
part.
exactly. Exactly. And
Yeah,
like they target a certain group of people.
yeah.
They targeted those boys. And when they saw their parents, they like definitely knew like these are the boys. Like they're black, they're poor. Like it's a messed up world.
Yes. Thank you, caller. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you so much for having me.
No problem.
Thank
Oh,
you.
oh, this is why this topic I was like, kind of like, do I want to do it? Because I know it's like it's gonna take you back to that place of being very, 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 very emotional. Let's take a couple of more calls before we wrap up. 240-0909. You're live on the air.
Very, 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 very
You got to
emotional.
turn me
Let's take a
down. Turn
couple
me
more.
down, and I'll come back to you. 980-9448. You're live on the air.
Hello,
Hey,
Armand.
what's going on?
Hey, how are you, sweetheart?
Good.
My
How are
first time
you?
getting through. I love you.
I
I
love you
watch you
too.
all the time.
Thank you.
All right. I wanted to channel in on a young lady that just called a 17-year-old. I
Yes.
love her intellect, and please stay strong, sweetheart. I have a 17-year-old, and I encourage her to not just hear what's going on, go see it, go be about it, understand where it's coming from. And that story goes back in time to, the late 1999, somewhere over there. But I
89.
lived through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 89. I lived through it, basically. I was born and raised in New York, and I'm 42, so that story hit hard
Yeah.
when it did happen up there, and I was like, I didn't understand because I was still very young, but at the same time, I didn't see the prejudice. I knew it was a white lady, and they were claiming black boys, but to me, in my heart, I didn't feel like it was some racially motivated. Like, I didn't have that intellect back then to understand, because I still talk to white people. Like, my mom would take us to, we would go to the parks, and I was in Central Park, and I seen this white man jogging, and I ran off jogging with him. And my mom was like, "Are you fucking crazy, girl?"
Yeah.
And whatever. My sisters and everybody started laughing, but I didn't see the prejudice in it not till I got older. Even though my parents were a lot older and they experienced their, racist in life, growing up in the fields and shit like that or whatever. But at the same time, it's the only time I really seen where there was a big difference in color was when the Rodney King case hit.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, like, those boys were so unjustly done, and you can see it. This isn't the first documentary. This shit has been all over. It's been all over Oxygen Channel. It's on one of their surviving series on Oxygen Snap Channel, or Murderers, or whatever documentaries they have. This shit has been out there for years. And the fact that I'm not watching this documentary, I lived through it. I seen what it was about, and it was wrongly done then. Those boys was coerced. I cannot say that word correctly. Please forgive me. Coerced. Whatever. But it was absolutely done incorrectly. And if you look back on the series that they have given out on the ID channel or even the Oxygen channel, and you could see the boys' actual confession. I don't know what this documentary is about, but I've seen it already and lived through it. But at the same time, their stories never added up for them to get ever convicted.
Right.
Ever. Their stories didn't even collaborate with each other for them to ever be convicted of this freaking heinous crime.
Yes.
And they should absolutely get all the justice in the world right now. And I do believe it's a bit of propaganda with the election and everything coming up. But that's neither here nor there. I'm not going to speculate on that too much, but I do believe there's got to be a reason. This is more than freaking 20 years old.
Yes.
That's like bringing Rodney King out the goddamn ground. What? Like, why are we still rehashing this shit? They did get paid, and I do believe they deserve more justice. But at the same time, it's buried under the dirt. Why are we resurfacing it?
Well, I think that they're resurfacing it because it's a part of our history. I think that I wasn't even born around this time. This is a story that I never.
Much history?
How much history?
How much history? Yes, this isn't like a Harriet Tubman type thing. You know what I'm saying? This is something that's happened along with the BK killer and, the Jeffrey Dahmers of the day. I mean, this is not going to make the history book. I don't give a damn. Neither is R. Kelly. You know what I'm saying?
No, man, we can't compare this to R. Kelly. No.
This is something that can teach. If you want to say that this is about the election, this is something that can teach people, like younger people that weren't born at this time, that these are the people. These people that prosecuted him are people who are voted in. These people are picked and elected in. So you need to be paying attention to what you're doing, or go vote. Period, because this is the people that we are putting in power, who now have power over us and can control our lives and can put my 14-year-old son or 14-year-old brother or cousin in jail for something that they did not do. They can still do these things today like they did back in 1988. So this is a part of history. This is a part of a learning experience that like I said, I wasn't born around this time. I didn't see none of this. This is a reminder to me that we do, if you want to say it does have something to do with the election, this is a reminder that the election is coming up and I need to make sure that I'm reading and voting correctly because I need to make sure who I'm putting in power is somebody that's going to have my back, not somebody that's going to sit up there and just because they want to win a case and we're black, they're going to pin something on us with absolutely no evidence. If I never known this, I could never even be thinking that way. I could just be, it's swept under the rug. It's 20 years ago. We're not going to just keep sweeping things under the rug like that. That's the problem.
I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, history repeats itself. What's going on today is what we should be paying attention to, not what's 20 years ago. And I do understand you have a very valid point. Hold on, you have a very valid point. But history is going on today. These black men are being shot down on concrete today. Pay attention to what's in your neighborhood instead of what happened 20 years ago because it's repeating itself, whether it's a rape charge or your brother or your cousin being laid down on a fucking concrete by a goddamn cop.
But I think you're right. But I think if we learn from history, then we won't make some of the same mistakes today. So now for me,
history is today. It's still going on today.
But part of the problem with the history that
20 years ago, they're just being killed now. Those same 5 brothers that got accused are being killed right now, laying down on pavements right now from a damn cop. They didn't have to go in court because they didn't have no court. Their court was the graveyard.
And part of the problem with that is that it keeps
a different way right now.
It keeps being allowed to be happen because the people, these police officers that are shooting and killing us today, nothing is happening to them. Just like nothing was happening to that lady 20 years ago. So let's see at the history that this is something that, like you said, is happening today and happened 20 years ago, meaning it never stopped. So when are we in this time ever going to deal with this stuff? This ain't just for some people my age. This looks new. So we need to let them know this has been happening. We should have been making a change. So you need to see that the pattern has never stopped. So don't keep sweeping this stuff under the rug because the stuff that's happening today is going to be 20 years. The 2020 the stuff that's
we have to do the same thing. We have to keep that same energy, like Armand says, that we had back then and bring it forward to today.
And the people who are in power today didn't know about 20 years ago. So let's give them that same energy to have. I didn't know about
Hold on. I'm going to keep you on the line because I'm sure some people, keep you on the line. Don't hang up. I'm going to keep her on the line. Let me take another caller. 240-0909. You're live on the air.
Hi, Armand.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey. Okay, so let me first say that police officers was created to make sure that black people stayed in check after slavery. First, they started out in the 1600s as slave patrols and watchmen. And that was to, make sure that the slaves still stayed in check, but, they was already enslaved. And it was a form of punishment to punish the people that were not slaves, like the white people. Mm-hmm. So they're not for us. They've never been for us. And I do a lot of research and, everything like that. So fuck the police. Like, I don't care. Fuck that white lady. What was her name? Linda Fahrenheit?
Yes.
Fuck her too, because she fucked them up really bad. Like, I watched Corey in an interview, and he is like he's mentally there, but you can tell that he's been through some shit. Like, I felt like he was on crack or something. Like, how he was so fucked up, and it just really breaks my heart. And it also reminds me of Emmett Till. Like, I'm so happy that they did not die, and
Yes.
they're here to tell their story, because Emmett Till is not here, and that old bitch came out years later to say that she lied, which we already fucking knew. So fuck her too. I would give a fuck if she's 98, 100. You're still a piece of shit. This story just really pissed me off, and I'm happy that everybody is getting on her, because then back in the 1890s, 1989 is when that happened. Black people were scared. Like, they were scared to come out. But now that we have social media and people with that more balls behind the screen to say something, like, we can actually make a change and like get these people the fuck out of here. Because like, if this keeps happening, like, Black people is still going to be held down. Like, nothing is going to change.
Well, what do
Like,
you say?
it's
Do
just
you think that the caller is right about, we shouldn't worry about this? This is history. We shouldn't be worried about this history.
no.
Okay.
No, no, we need to be like people need to do their research so like shit like this won't happen. I did not learn about Emmett Till in school. I had to learn about him on my own. Like I didn't know anything. I'm 25. I didn't know anything about about these guys. So no, because if they keep throwing shit under the rug, it's gonna keep happening. We're going to keep losing Black people. We're going to, like, people are just going to die. And what the fuck the cops are going to say? Oh, I fear for my life. Like Kevin, who got hit in the face, and then they said the lady did the scratch. Can't no fucking scratch put a fucking bump on your face like that. Get the fuck out of here. No, I'm sorry. I'm just so pissed. And like, I watch documentaries and movies and stories about this like all the time, because I realize that a lot of people are naive to the world. They're naive to the cops, So like, I watch, to see like if I was ever in this situation, like how would I maneuver? How would I get out of this? And not be set up, like, so the cops won't set me up, or so I won't get killed or anything like that. Like, people really need to do research and watch and stop looking at all these fucking dumb ass celebrities, like, and Kim K's and all that other shit. No, we need to do more about our history. We need to know when the cops got us and when they don't have us, and when they're trying to pin you on something. Because okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm gonna tell you this story. Okay, it's really
Okay,
bad.
make it quick.
So
Make it quick. Make it quick. We got 10 seconds.
So my brother ended up getting beat up by the police. He got tased like 10 times. Like, his eye was closed. He got tased in his eye. He got tased in his head. And you know what the cops say? The cops say that they only tased him 3 times. Like, they unlawfully arrested him for no reason, because the cops started with him. They talked shit to my brother, and he talked shit them back. And that's when they tasered him and tried to arrest him. So hopefully when we go to court, he wins. He wins because he needs to win. And we have the video. We have the video of everything. And it pissed me off because I really wanted to punch them. So,
And this
thank
was
you, Ron, for
recently.
listening.
Wow.
Yes, recently. 2 months ago. Yes, recently. 2 months ago.
Well,
His eye was shut. His eye was shut for a whole month and a half. We saw his fucking his right knee on the top of his head from how many times they tased him. And when I say that, I was boiling, pissed off. And then to hear their statement to say that they only tased my brother 3 times and that he was trying to fight them when and they did not have their body cams on. So when we go to court, it's only they only going to see a video from us, not from them, because they turned their body cams off. Wow. They know my brother because my brother was a known a juvenile. So one cop, he had this vendetta against him. He hates my brother. So he started that on purpose just to lock him up. And they kept his phone because my brother was recording. They kept his phone for a whole week and a half. They wouldn't give it back to him at all. So yeah.
Well, good luck, caller. Wow. All right, thank you, caller. Bye. Oof. A lot going on. Ironically enough, I don't even drive with my baseball caps on. I don't like to drive with baseball caps on. Black men do not drive with baseball caps on. Those are hot ticket, red ticket items to get pulled over. Especially after a long night, you've been kind of driving, maybe had a drink or two. You just never know. I really don't like to I don't like to have run-ins with the law. So when I have those moments, when I'm driving in my car, I don't drive with my baseball cap on. You know what's also funny? I used to have this yellow Jeep too. It was a what was it? A Honda Passport. It was like a or
Wasn't it a Nissan
a Nissan
Xterra?
Xterra. It was a Nissan Xterra, yellow Nissan Xterra, like a 2001 Nissan Xterra. People used to laugh at me all the time, but I chose that car on purpose. The reason why I chose that car is because it looked like it was like a white boy surfing car. It had the stuff where you can put like the skis on the top or the luggage or whatever, and you can go four-wheel driving. Listen, I used to be one of the most reckless people in that car. You know, didn't have a license, had weed. This before it was legal. I used to drink and drive. I mean, just do a bunch of dumb shit, honestly. At some point, I don't even think I had insurance. But I would never get pulled over. But then when I had my Mustang and everything was legit on there, and I would always get pulled over. But whenever I was in that Nissan, for some reason, it didn't look like a threatening car. I didn't have my, cops didn't mess with me. I don't know, it was just weird. But driving while black is a thing too, so you got to be very careful. Let's take another caller. 470-0121. You're live on the air.
Hey, Armani.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey. I didn't get a chance to watch the documentary, really because I didn't want to watch it. I knew it was gonna have everybody in the uproar, and
Okay.
I didn't want to be feeling sad.
Uh-huh.
But at the end of the day, everybody's made some good points. But I just feel like everybody's, saying that we need to start doing this and we need to start doing that, which is true. But at the end of the day, I mean, nothing's really going to change. You see how they had Stacey and all other these sorts of people trying to run for Senate and whatnot to get black people at that table to be able to change laws. Because these people that are working, like these judges and these new electeds, they're all in it for the money. They're all in it. Clout chasing is not just with social media, it's also with politics, all of that, for names and all sorts of shit. But anyway, I just feel like things are not gonna change. This is what it is now, and I hate that happened. But that shit is happening all the time. I'm from Mississippi, and some shit like that just went down. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, shit like that is gonna always happen. What you gotta do is just do what you do, keep making your money, and stay out of these people's way. You know what I'm saying? The law is going to be the law. These people are going to do what they're going to do. With the abortions now, you see how that's going. I mean, it is what it is. It's all in this plan now at this day and time. So you just got to stay to yourself, man, and just try to stay out the mix. But I love your show, Armand. I watched last night with Tasha. Everything is going good for you. The subs are going up, and I really enjoy watching. Happy belated B-Day.
Thank you so much, love. Bye. So this lady said it's pretty much fuck it. Life is what it is. And a piece of her is telling the truth.
Yeah, a piece of her is telling the truth. I feel like we see a lot of the Black Lives Matter movements and things like that, and it seems like it doesn't ever really get anything. I mean, I feel like in today's society, things are only cool for a week. Once it's over on Instagram, it's done. Nobody's like really pushing like back in the day. Like Martin Luther King's job was to change the laws and change the right. Today's people are doing it because they want the most likes on that picture.
Yeah.
And I think that's really the problem in today.
Everybody, it's like fake outrage.
Yeah, but that still goes back to why we need to have movies like this resurface 20 years later, because while you chasing likes, people are getting, 14-year-olds is getting put in jail for stuff that they didn't do for 7 to 14 years while you chasing likes. We need to be paying attention to this stuff, not sweeping it under the rug.
Yes.
Just saying.
Okay, let's take another. 757-5563. You're live on the air.
Hey, Armand.
Hey.
I'm finally on.
Yes.
I'm a little nervous, so I'm going to try to say everything because you guys made some really great points this evening. I agree that the prosecutor, Linda, whatever her name, all of the law people who were involved with prosecuting those kids, all of them need to be punished, however we can get that done. And as a mother,
my son is only like 7 years old, but it resonated with me so much because as mothers, young mothers my age, we now have to prepare our children for something like that that is very much possible. Because
Yes.
like one of your callers, Nicole or whatever her name was, I'm gonna get to her in a minute. She was partially right because that can happen to my son because it's happening right now.
Yes.
It's very possible that when my son is going to the store, like Tamir Rice, instead of getting shot down in the parking lot playing with a toy gun, he can get picked up by the police while I'm at work, and then I don't know about it, and he's getting questioned. Next thing you know, they done grilled him until I get off of work, and they're like, well, he had already confessed to a crime, and now I'm in the same position with those other parents because I'm not rich by any means to get the most highest paid lawyer to help my child get out.
Yes.
Now, that's what's leading me into the point with Nicole. I believe that's what her name is, the older lady who called in not too long ago.
Okay.
I'm assuming she's older because she kept on referring to history as history, and we need to deal with what's going on right now. The thing is that a lot of young people now that are, I think you said you were what, maybe 1 year old when that happened
Yes.
in 1989?
And I wasn't even born.
You may not be aware of a lot of the things that have happened in history, unless, you were watching Roots or something like that. You don't have anything that you can identify with. And I think movies like this, and the 13 and things that Ava DuVernay does, she actually makes it more relatable, and it's very much real for you guys for all of us to go back and see how history is impacting how it is now. We can't just continue to sweep stuff underneath the rug because that's what white America wants us to do. They want us to get used to and have it normalized for us to see people get shot on Instagram by the police and mysteriously dying or this, that, and the other happening. And then we get so cold-hearted to it that it becomes like the last caller you just said, where it's just like, fuck it. What are we going to do now?
Right.
It's just like you can see how that whole comparison just went down on your show, where it's like she did have a point, but because of what she said, it directly impacts, and that's the example with the young girl who called right behind her. It just happens to be a fuck it. And it's like if you guys don't know what happened in your history, there's no way for you guys to compare what history is to what's going on today because all you know is today and not your history.
Right.
So I hope that Nicole is still listening and hopefully she takes a bit of that information.
Let me see. Let's see if she's still on the line.
In her own.
Caller, are you here?
Is that me?
Yeah, that's you.
Oh, okay. My name is Tasha.
Okay.
Okay, I had the wrong name.
Yeah, I never gave my name.
Okay.
Oh,
But
I'm looking at the comments.
I
I'm
am
sorry,
now.
my bad.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I just wanted to piggyback off of something. When I was in college and I was studying for law, I entitled a paper, a term paper of mine. I'm not going to take too long saying this, but it was NYPD, aka KKK, and there were so many stories, and I was the only black girl out of a class of 50 white people. I mean, I included the O.J. Simpson case. I included the Rodney King case, amongst other cases that I had no inclination of knowing about until I researched it. You understand me? So at the same time, I've gotten so much history just from before the internet time. It was called a word processor, or we had to take our ass to the library and research it. You understand me? So there is history in research, absolutely. But at the same time, this type of, with the internet, it's just going to be a fly-by-night. This is just something that's happening for now. But this happened to these kids. You're feeling the impact of it now. This went on for years in New York City, honey. It was talked about for years. These children were put in prison, jailed, and scrutinized, and every damn thing else. We felt the impact of it back then. And to rehash it and bring it back up, that's bringing up old emotions just like slavery. But but what I am saying is it's good for the younger generation that's filled with the YouTube, not to say anything about you or mine, but full of the internet and World Wide Web and all of that stuff or whatever today. I'm still getting used to this shit where you can just Google something, and I'm 42. My daughter's teaching me shit. Understand me, but it's good for you guys to understand the process. But the process, to me, it's not going to break it down. What's going to break it down is our voices being heard. We going to the Congress people. I have been at many Congress meetings with many officials in my city or state. I move a lot, so I'm always there. I'm always somewhere. I know how to volunteer. I know how to talk to governors. I know how to talk to whoever. I know how to put it in an email now. How about that? I'm just saying. A bitch got grown people's drawers right now.
Let me just interject really quick.
Yes, ma'am.
I think what it is a generational gap. When you say things like research and the internet and movies like this is this generation's research. Right.
Exactly.
They're not going to go back on their own and say, well, let me go look up what happened to the.
No, what we had was called the glossary. You look up stuff in a back.
Go ahead, caller. Keep going.
I'm sorry.
No, keep going. I'm going to mute her right now.
No, I'm just saying that they're because they're not. Because this generation isn't aware of it until someone else brings it to the surface for it to be recognized. Like this happened or that happened. Like the young girl that didn't know anything about Tamir. What is his name? He got beat up by the white people back in the day for whistling at the white woman. What's his name?
I don't know, child. Don't even get me to making it up.
Maybe they need to make another movie. That's why they need to make a movie about that, so then we can also, our generation can learn about those things.
Maybe she know.
You know? Well, let's sweep that one under the rug.
Yeah, she probably does know, but I mean, and the young girl who called not too long ago who was fussing about her brother getting beat up by the police or whatever.
Oh, Emmett Till.
She mentioned his story about the young white man, the young boy who was only 12, 13 years old, visiting his family in Mississippi. The white man came and pulled him out of his house at 2:00 in the morning, beat his ass and drowned him until his mom, she had an open casket to let you know how messed up these white men beat her son, and they got off with it. Just 2 years ago, the white woman who claimed that he whistled at me, which is why he was murdered, she decided to say, oh, well, I was lying. You know, so, I mean, it's just stories like that some generations, this generation isn't going to know until you bring it to the forefront. And then the generations ahead of you guys, they're tired of hearing it. You know, and it makes it just messed up. I'm sorry.
Thank you so much, caller.
Can I say something?
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Isn't it basically the same thing from our parents, our ancestors, our parents, or whatever, teaching us how they grew up, and you're like, and we as kids, and these are our parents saying, oh, hell no, that would never happen to us. I mean, you were dumb for doing that shit, but it's the time at the time, and in no way am I excusing anything, but I mean, a lot has changed, and a lot, just have to be more vocal and be like my parents that were older raising me would never be the same parent that they were that was subjected to the type of crap they were subjected to in my day and age when they were raising me. They knew how to talk, so that taught me how to talk. So there's no way nobody can coerce me. I love that word, but I can't say it. You know what I'm saying? Into saying anything, because I've been raised already, and I've seen how you think you can just.
So wait, you were saying that so the reason why they're in the situation is because of their parents, the Central Park Five.
No.
Okay.
No, I think that their parents did not have enough knowledge or enough education to be like, look, if you're not guilty, then say you're not fucking guilty.
But guess what? But guess
Okay,
what?
so
But hold
that-
on. But guess what?
that being
But the
said-
parents of today will have the knowledge
you.
because
Today,
they watch things
This
like this.
movie that you
So go ahead.
Yeah,
No, go ahead.
now that this movie is out, when I have a child, I know how to teach my child how to go into life because now I've seen this movie where somebody did not do that. So if this movie would have never came out, I may have never even learned that for myself if my parent didn't know that. So this movie still is beneficial today, so I can teach my kids how to go into the world, how to deal with police, because I now see what happened today, like you said, and also what was happening 20 years ago. I can see the things that have changed and have not changed, so I can tell my child how to go into the world. So this movie is still relevant
Exactly.
today and needed today. So for us to say that it was 20 years ago,
I never said it was irrelevant.
but you said it wasn't really, you were saying it as though it wasn't really needed because you guys already dealt with it, but we didn't deal with it and we didn't get a chance to learn from it.
Excuse me. When you seen when that black man died on the pavement, you didn't learn from that. I'm just saying. When the black man died and had no weapon, you didn't learn anything from that, and that was just 2 weeks ago. I'm just saying. Or the woman that was killed by a cop 2 weeks ago or whatever, you didn't learn anything from that.
I learned how to go into.
just
I
saying.
learned how to.
You
I learned
need a
how to deal
movie
and go
to
into
teach
the
you what's
world.
going
But
on
you just.
in life, when life is right there in your face. Life is right there in your face. Address it. And that's all I'm going to say. My battery's dying. It's been lovely. I love you, Armand.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sweetheart.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Okay, let's take the last caller. Okay. 469-5358. You're live on the air.
Hey, Armand, it's Tom calling from Dallas.
Hey, what's going on?
Nothing much. Going to go get me a burrito, but hey, let me tell y'all something. Don't.
Uh-oh. Hello? Are we here? That was a lot of energy that just happened, that took place. Uh-oh. Hold on, we just had an audio error. Hold on. We're going to see what happens. Dang. No. Okay, y'all hear me? Okay, let me see. Let me see if I can bring her back on. Can you guys hear me?
Start your show now. Press 1.
Since it appears you're calling back into a live
she
show,
hung
we are
up.
reconnecting you now.
The Lord didn't like when we was having that. I mean, the devil was trying to block that conversation.
Oh, we were trying. I could have tell her to call back. That we had a technical difficulty with the audio, but we are back. However, we did lose the caller. Hopefully the burrito was good. It sounds good. I would love a big fat burrito right now.
I'm sure
Maybe
you
we should
would.
have that for lunch, babe. Dinner, tacos, burrito. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
So what did you? You had a lot to say. How did you feel
because
about
I
that?
just felt as though I thought this was a good conversation. I wasn't going to come in here and sit with you today, but I thought it was a good conversation. It is good to see different age groups about how they feel about these things, as though, you know what I mean. So I mean, I understand she's kind of like, we dealt with this. And so let's deal with what's going on with today.
Mhm.
But for somebody of my generation who wasn't alive during that time, that can help me deal with today. Because I'm not that back then, it's done, but I still have to go through today. So I can use what they didn't do in today and pushing it forward. So I think that it still was a good I think it was a good conversation. That's part of the reason why this docu-series yet again is still good and good. I don't care if it happened 20 years or 100 years. It still is good today because we're having this conversation and people are still learning today. And now it's not just to black people as much as, like we say, every white person isn't like that. So
Yes.
these white people are learning this too. There are white people who do be out here fighting for black people. Maybe we see them few and thick, they're few in between, but there are people who need to hear this and learn from this. So for us just to say that was 20 years ago, let's talk about Black Lives Matter today. Well, let's also go back and see what steps we missed that is still going on 20 years ago. We need to go look back at that.
I think you're right, and I think the most important thing that everybody is saying is that it's happening today. But why is it happening still today? There's things that are happening that happened in the history and that are happening today, and we need to learn from the mistakes of others, or maybe somebody missed something and they got into a situation. I think that this documentary was very important, very, very. We definitely needed it. So I don't think looking at history from the past is taking away from anything that's happening in the present. If anything, it's helping you understand what's happening in the present term. Like, I didn't know that Donald Trump was doing that shit back then, and this is the president. So maybe a person that may like Donald Trump and maybe voted for Donald Trump, or maybe was on the fence if they were going to vote Donald Trump, maybe this has swayed them a little bit, because they've seen that this man has had characteristics of being a bit of a monster even way back when. It helps us tie in everything. You need to know what happened yesterday to kind of fully understand what's happening today.
Right.
You have to. You can't just understand what's happening today without understanding a little bit about what happened yesterday and how to move forward and how to maneuver through life. So everyone had good points. Shout out to everybody for coming on to the show. Shout out to you for coming on and giving your opinion. And yes, until next time, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. If you guys would like to become a member of the channel, where we have our exclusive members only live chats. Moderators will put the links in the comments. Is that everything?
Yeah.
We're going to be coming out with new merchandise with the new logos and stuff. So that's going to be updated soon, so you guys can actually get that as well. Mm-hmm. And that's about it, you guys. I know this movie, it's kind of like a downer. Shout out to that 17-year-old. She was very articulate and she was very smart, very intelligent. So shout out to her. I'm glad that we have youth on here watching and being inspired. We did have some white people on here. Listen, I don't dislike white people. I'm just saying some of those films make me feel a kind of way towards white people. It's just what it is,
It's like when you have a bad, you keep getting bad fruits, and then you say you hate apples. It's like you could get one, but you just start to feel some type of way towards them. I know that was a weird analogy, but that's what came to my head.
But okay, so we're gonna wrap this up here, and then
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
We're going to be dropping some more videos for you guys. So make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. And most importantly, keep that same energy. And until next time, I will see you soon.
Original, bitch.